Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Cycling through all of the stages of grief. Vent/rant/FML. Sorry for the long post. I am still raw. I, 27F, have been with my husband, 30M, for almost 10 years, and married for almost 2. We have been bickering more, but things have honestly been stressful for both of us. He hates his job, or so I thought, and I am in the second year of a PhD program. We downloaded the Lasting app, since he refused marriage counseling due to money and his belief that we could work things out on our own. In hindsight, big red flags, and honestly thought we were doing better. Our bickering got better, we were communicating without making assumptions about the other person's thoughts/emotions, we were actively working on the little things, you know? On Sunday, I got up shortly after him and he asked me to feed the dogs while literally snapping at me. I turned to him and asked if he could not snap at me because I found it rude, and he looked at me and snapped again. I looked at him like, WTF? Why would you do that immediately after I asked you not to? His response was, because it shouldn't bother you. This just turned into an argument where he eventually said he was done trying and that that's just who he is. Several hours later and we are still heated, and I'm just trying to figure out what he means about not trying. He eventually says that we are just incompatible, and that I want kids and he doesn't. This was news to me because while we are not ready for kids now, we frequently talked about his desire to be a SHD once I finish my program. I asked when this changed and he replied a year ago. Things got a little bit less heated as we both decided that we were tired and not able to have a real conversation. Yesterday he went to work and when he came home, I asked if we could talk about what happened, and he sighed, sat down next to me, and told me that he fell in love with one of his, also married, co-workers. I asked how it happened and he said that they had been talking on the side for several months, though he assured me nothing ever got physical. I asked why he couldn't tell me about this at all when we were trying to work on our marriage, and he said because he is a coward and wasn't sure if he wanted to work on us. I asked if he still loved me and he said yes. I asked if he wanted to work on things and he said I don't know, but if you're going to make me choose now, the answer is no. I was completely blindsided. Nothing seemed real. But I told him that I'm not just going to sit here and hope that he'll choose me. He told me I can keep both dogs. I cried, called my parents, cried some more, and texted friends that we were planning a board game night with. I spent the night at a friend's house drinking wine, crying, getting angry, laughing, all of it. Once they fell asleep, I stayed awake watching Netflix and occasionally calling my parents and niece. I haven't slept since yesterday. I'm tired, but the moment I close my eyes, the tears start again. I can barely eat because I'm so nauseous. Logically I know I will be okay, and honestly, there was so much about myself that I was sacrificing for this relationship. He never validated my emotions. There were a lot of little put-downs, a lot of gaslighting. I am by no means perfect, but I do take comfort in knowing that I tried hard. Now I just need to figure out how to do this while trying to finish my doctorate. Right now, I am thankful for my 2 dogs, the new girl, a great pick-me-up, great friends, and guacamole. I'm sure I will sob at least 10 more times today, but I am trying my hardest to just lean into these emotions because they will pass. And part of me is so angry that he was so unemotional when I left last night, but I also feel kind of bad for him in a way. Because while this pain sucks, it just shows how much love I have to offer. And I look forward to finding someone else who is more deserving of that love. But for now, that love will be channeled into my family, friends, and dogs. He emotionally cheated and then called me manipulative. Rant. And I am now realizing how much SHT I have put up with and made excuses for. My 27F husband, 30M, and I didn't have the perfect relationship, but I can truly say that I loved him and trusted him wholeheartedly. We have been married for almost 2 years and together for almost 10. After having a stupid fight on Sunday, check my post history for those details, he gave me the dreaded "there's someone else" on Monday evening. Proceeded to tell me that he has fallen in love with one of his, also married, co-workers and wants to try and make it work with her. Swore that it never got physical, gee, thanks. And that it just happened. You know, because having extensive text conversations with your married co-worker just happens. I begged and pleaded, admittedly harder than I should have, to try and make things work. Marriage counseling, giving time, you name it. I left for the night, and when I came back on Tuesday night, I asked if he was still sure. He said he was, then had the gall to admit that he dreaded coming home from work because he wasn't sure if I was going to try and manipulate him again into staying. Because apparently trying to not throw away a 10-year relationship and begging for counseling / a trial separation / etc. before calling it quits is manipulative. He said I could keep both dogs because it would be cruel to separate them. So I left with them last night. While he was at work, I packed them up with some clothes and went to stay with a friend. Call it morbid curiosity, but last night I texted him one last time to see if his feelings had changed once he got home and was alone in the house. He said nope, and that I shouldn't hold out hope for reconciliation. Surprisingly, I haven't cried since then. I woke up feeling strangely hopeful and excited about finding my own apartment. I am sure a lot of it is just numbness rather than truly being over it, but honestly, being called manipulative for trying to make our marriage work and then realizing that he didn't have a change in heart after realizing he would never see our 2 dogs again, something just clicked inside me. In some ways, I'm thankful that he is being so cruel. Literally a week ago I thought things were okay, and I have gone from thinking I would die with this man, to trying to find an apartment and accepting that I will have to live on my own for the first time in my life. I am also calling the divorce lawyer today and a psychologist because I know I will have more breaks. Not sure what I'm hoping to get from posting this, but it feels good to rant. Thanks to whoever reads it. I suppose you now get to be friendly with a lawyer. Please protect yourself. I am so sorry you have to go through this, and I firmly believe that there is no shame in begging and pleading when your world shatters. Be strong enough to lean on your friends. Hey, you're not alone. Almost the exact same situation happened to me 2 months ago. Married for 2 years, together for almost 10. My wife became suddenly distant and cold, and after begging her to tell me what was wrong, she admitted to seeing someone else. She has no intention of working on our marriage as of right now. I begged and pleaded but eventually realized it will never work. They will always try to shift the blame on you and rewrite history about your relationship because it makes them feel better about their shitty actions. You did nothing wrong and you are good enough. This is not your fault, it is your husband's. He could have talked about the marital problems or ended things like an adult, but he chose the most immature and hurtful way out. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I want to be real with you. My wife only admitted to an emotional affair and then eventually said it was just kissing, but then I snooped on her phone and found out it was sex as well. Cheaters lie like this. They don't want you to know the full truth. She said she wanted a divorce, so I gave it to her. I filed and we're separating in a week. In my state, you need to be separated for 6 months before the divorce is finalized. I'm not sure if she'll try to reconcile before the 6 months are up, but it doesn't seem likely. She left me our house and our dog. I thought this was the person I was going to spend the rest of my life with. What hurts the worst is having the entire future you planned for yourself and your spouse suddenly thrown in the garbage. I can tell you that even after only 2 months in, there is still pain, but things get better. I promise. If you ever need to talk about anything, my DMs are open. Thank you for your reply. This gives me hope. The last 3 days have been a complete whirlwind of emotions, and there have been several times where I genuinely wondered how I would ever get better. I'm so sorry that you're going through this pain, but I genuinely do appreciate hearing from someone who has experienced this that it will get better. The most typical advice you see posted in here may seem generic, but it really helps. Focus and work on yourself, and do it with the intention of impressing no one but yourself. Go to the gym, find a new hobby, lean on family and friends, read books, change up your routine by finding a new job, etc. At first, all you want to do is stay in bed and feel sad, and that's normal. Make sure you try your best to eat well and get enough sleep. I know those things can be hard at first. The sooner you can pick yourself up and realize that the most important person right now is yourself, the sooner you'll start to feel better. He's shown his true colors. If his little emotional affair doesn't work out, do not take him back. Is the co-worker leaving her spouse? What if she doesn't? Will you take him back? Every post I've read says to inform the other spouse of the affair so they can make an informed decision on their next steps. Sounds like your husband is still in the affair fog. I'm not sure. In our fight on Monday night, I asked him if she planned on leaving her spouse. He said he didn't know and that if she doesn't leave him, he stands to lose everything. I don't think I can take him back though. I still love him, but trust is necessary in my relationships and he's proven himself to be too good of a liar. I thought about reaching out to the other spouse. Truth be told, the main reason I haven't is because I can't bring myself to look up who this AP is and see what she looks like. There is also a small part of me that doesn't want to assist in bringing them together, hoping that my husband will come back to me. But again, I don't even think I want that. Not sure what hurts worse, losing my best friend/partner of 10 years or realizing I never had him to begin with. Needs support. First off, I want to thank everyone on this sub. The support I received from many of you has already given me a little bit of strength to move forward. As I spend my days crying on and off, I have come to the realization that many of the things I am crying over losing, emotional validation, someone to share my good days and bad days with, most of them I never had in the first place or had to beg him for. My STBX was terrible with emotions. I, on the other hand, have always worn my emotions on my sleeve. Good, bad, ugly. I cry out of sadness, happiness, and frustration. He would always shut down during an argument where I showed any hint of emotion. I begged him to try counseling to improve our communication, but he wouldn't because it cost money. I once cried during a movie where a dog died unexpectedly, and his first reaction was to laugh at me. He didn't even console me. Recently, I asked him about saving some time for our 10-year dating anniversary since it falls on a Saturday. He asked me to reschedule because he had a video game thing happening that week. He had no idea why this hurt me and we argued about it. I eventually agreed to postpone. All of these little things have been swimming in my head. All of the excuses I've made for him. And I'm realizing that he did not love me or treat me the way I so desperately wanted to be. The way I treated and loved him. And so I noticed that I'm not grieving him, but rather the person I hoped he would be someday. The person I saw through rose-colored lenses. And it really sucks to come to that realization. We always grieve the potential, the person we thought they were. That person doesn't exist. Even if they did for the first while, true colors come out eventually, which is why breakups and divorces happen. People can only fake being genuine for so long if they aren't. It's one thing to take someone for granted, but it's another to have complete disregard for their feelings and well-being. Good comment. Well said. Thumbs up. This is beautiful and spot on. Thank you for sharing. People just don't stop loving someone. No, they got tired of pretending. He said he still loves me, he just loves this other person more. Ultimately it was me who made the decision to leave. I so desperately wanted to do the pick me dance and hope I chose me, but I realized that if we reconciled, I would never stop that dance. And it sounds so effing exhausting. He still loves you, but loves the other person more? How disrespectful. I hope you love yourself enough to know that this is not acceptable. I suggest you check out the 4 M's of infidelity online. It's a good concise explanation of the frame of mind of cheaters and why it is difficult for them to leave the AP. I think it will ring more than a few bells for you. Also, never ever date or settle for potential and never spend another 10 years dating, unless that is what you want to do. You know somewhere that you deserve better and can do better. Leave your STBX to his video games and start the rest of your life with someone capable of loving you the way you want to be loved. In time you will be so glad you did. Good luck. Oh man, I so relate to much of this. I just ended our 9-year relationship 2 weeks ago. But it wasn't some wonderful relationship that was rocked by his cheating. It was a relationship where I was stuck in a cycle of begging him for affection and love, with him promising to do better and me feeling hopeful, and then we started the cycle all over again. I am mourning the loss of companionship, of my comfort zone, and of the hope of things to get better with him. Him being unfaithful rocked me. I had no idea. When I look back and try to figure it out, I can't make it make sense, and it is still so hard to wrap my brain around the fact that it is even real life. Yes, that sounds very similar to my relationship. I'm so sorry you're also going through it. You'd think that it would make it easier, but it really doesn't. It doesn't frown better days ahead for us both, heart. Yes, it sucks, but you will be better off. When the time is right, go find the person you are meant to be with. You will be much happier. Ask you to postpone the anniversary. How could anyone ask their partner to do that? His response was, the date doesn't matter, what matters is that we will be together. So it made me feel irrational for wanting to celebrate on the actual date. I always left our arguments feeling irrational. The date doesn't matter, WTF kind of response is that? I would tell the date to my next partner. I am so sorry you're going through this. Wishing you so much strength right now. I hate saying this as a blanket term, but it might be a good idea to seek therapy. My STBXH was similar, and I'm actually learning that I and my daughter were emotionally abused. Not saying that's the case in your situation, but if it is, a good therapist can help you learn more about it and how to heal from it. There are good men who are comfortable with and supportive of a partner's emotions. May you find one very soon. You deserve it. Everyone deserves a break in life, and this could be yours. Chances are, had fate not intervened, you would have been all too aware that life with your husband sucked, but would probably have just soldiered on. Well, thanks to Wonder Boy and his wandering hands and a compliant co-worker, things are going to change. Don't even give the notion of losing a best friend up. He wasn't even a friend. If he had been and had treated you as he has, he'd have been off your Christmas and birthday card list some time ago. Stand by for a swift turnaround. Once she, AP, realizes the nature of her prize, she might well have a rethink. That would put your now ex back on your case. Don't even give it a second thought, He won't change. He can't change. And you deserve something better. Take your time. Don't rush anything. Heal slowly, steadily and fully. There is a man, lots of them actually, who will love, cherish and appreciate you as you deserve. When you are good and ready, go out and give him a chance to find you. Good luck, heart. Whenever video games are more important than your 10th anniversary, the relationship is dead. That is a total lack of empathy and respect for your feelings. Like the title of your post says, you never had him to begin with. People who cheat can't truly commit. They will commit only when it suits them. As soon as things get rough, routine, comfortable, etc., they seek and find someone else and start the process all over. He will be with some longer than others simply because opportunity may or may not present itself. Feel fortunate he has revealed his true self now instead of years down the road. Someone on Reddit said, don't date someone for their potential. Date them for what they bring to the table in the present. I couldn't say better. I married someone for their potential and it turned out to be a total mess and disaster. I am very sorry for your situation. You are enough to be loved. Proving the saying, men marry women hoping they will never change, but women marry men hoping they will. When women show their true selves, and express their true standards, they end up with the men of their dreams. Until men can find women who love them as they are, they will not find happiness. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.